January 26, 2017 City Commission meeting to order. First item for business would be the swearing-in ceremony. Commissioner Jacob.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and faithfully discharge the duties of City Commissioner
and faithfully discharge the duties of City Commissioner
of the City of Hays,
of
Kansas.
the City of Hays, Kansas.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yay.
The wave.
Next item on the agenda would be the City Commission minutes from December 22nd. Any changes? Okay. Next item would be the formal reorganization of the governing body.
Just to clarify, the Kansas legislature adopted legislation last year to move municipal elections to November. The city commission used to have their municipal elections in April, and then the new commission would take seat at the first regular meeting after the elections. The new commission will now take seat in January of, in this case, it would be January of 2018. So the city commission decided there was a 9-month period, sort of a gap it created. The city commission decided at that time that Mayor Phelps would fill half of the gap and Mayor Musel would fill half of the gap. This reorganization, which would normally be Mayor Musel's term, will put you back on schedule so that next year you guys would reorganize in January, and everybody would move just like normal.
Need a motion officially, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a motion for Sean Musel to act as mayor.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Myers. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes 5-0. Second vote. Next item would be nomination of election of vice mayor.
I nominate Commissioner Myers.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Swallow, second by Commissioner Jacobs. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Opposed, nay.
It don't matter.
Technically.
Okay. Citizen, next item would be citizen comments, non-agenda items. You guys want to come up and talk, nurses? All right. Next item would be the consent agenda. First, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong one.
You're right.
Yeah, consent agenda.
Yep.
Sorry about that. Okay, first item would be for recommendation of William Steinkuhler to the Hayes Area Planning Commission. And then the second one, what is it? For approval. Thank you. Would be the Sister Cities Advisory Board, Olga Dietrich for a 3-year term, and Corey Zimmerman for a 3-year term. Both of them would be their second term.
Any other items on the agenda tonight?
Rules of procedure.
Do what?
The rules of
Rules of
procedure is also on.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, rules of procedure. Sorry, guys.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I second.
Thank you for Commissioner Swallow for the motion, and Commissioner Jacobs, second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Okay. Unfinished business. Next item would be the consideration of Sunday liquor sales.
This is an item that was discussed by the city commission a couple work sessions ago. The commission asked for this to be put on the January 26th regular meeting. You are being presented with an ordinance that would make Sunday liquor sales available in the city of Hays according to state statute. They would be able to be sold on any day between the hours of 9 a.m. and 11 p.m., including Sunday, except Easter, and including Memorial Day, Independence Day, and Labor Day.
I guess I brought this up. I thought it would be kind of a controversial type of issue, but so far I still haven't received any emails or phone calls in support or against this item. So I think that it's just something that we ought to do. There is a fiscal note to it. What it's going to be is, I don't even know if it's big enough to talk about or anything that we'll see, but I think it's just getting rid of some regulation that should have never been there to start with.
One question I do have, Sundays, the way I understand, statute is 12 to 8. It can be only sold from 12 to 8, do I understand?
Under this, right, under this version of the ordinance, and the statute
That
does.
state statute is 12 to 8.
Right, the state statute
And we-
gives you authority to have them open only those hours.
In this version of the ordinance, that's what we're planning on.
Right.
Right.
Right, if I said 9 to 11, it was my bad.
Well,
That's
that's fine.
weekdays.
A little early.
No.
Sundays is 12 to 8.
That's fine.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve ordinance number 3928, authorizing Sunday sale of alcohol in the city of Hays, Kansas.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Swaller, second by Commissioner Jones. Any comments? Anybody? I'll just say, Commissioner Jones, I've reached out to people, and it's all been very positive, and people actually are really excited for the change. So it's, for me, I really didn't, I guess, carry the way. So, but all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That's 5-0. Next item on the agenda, Creekside Estate Edition, vacation of a portion of the Arbor Valley Estates Edition.
Commissioners. I'm Greg Sun, the Director of Public Works, and this is the final plat of the Creekside Estates Edition. Tonight, you'll be asked to make two decisions. They're both listed on the agenda. One would be to vacate the west portion of the Arbor Valley Estates Edition, and then also approve the final plat for the Creekside Edition. The Creekside Edition, it should be said, sits right on top of the portion that you're being asked to vacate. This is the location. This right here is 27th Street. Hall is right here. And so the east side of the Arbor Valley Estates Edition is right here. A lot of those are already occupied. It is located south of 27th and west of the Arbor Valley Edition and Augusta Lane. The property is already zoned residential. That's what the proposal is to do with this parcel, and so there's no need to rezone it as part of any decision you make tonight. The property abuts the Arbor Valley Estates Edition. It's platted, which was platted and developed somewhere around 16 to 20 years ago. This is the plat as it exists today, and this is the one you'll be asked to vacate. And if you notice on here, this one includes a cul-de-sac, and because of the cul-de-sac, which is where Inglewood is, it required this street to go around and come up here, and it didn't line up with any other streets. This is the new plat. The difference between them is that the original plat had nearly 1.5 times as many lots and twice the linear feet of streets and utilities as there are in the proposed plat. The average lot size in this one is 30,000 square feet, so about 3/4 of an acre. This is a close-up of the plat. I'll point out again, the existing plat had 17 lots. There were 1,715 feet of linear street, water, and sewer. This proposal has 12 lots, and they range between .6 acres and about 1 acre, with the exception, as I pointed out last time, this lot down here. This is a larger lot, but this right here is the floodplain line. And one thing that we're doing differently with this, that it comes from the Unified Development Code and through the stormwater regulations, but we're promoting that the property owners retain ownership of the set-aside land for stormwater purposes, rather than it being something additionally that the city has to maintain. And so that's part of that lot also. This is the plat lined up with the streets, so you can clearly see here that now this street will line up with Inglewood. It makes it a much more logical design than we have right now. This is a copy of what we potentially could have with the trail system, because of the way we're being granted 37.5 feet of an easement along the west side of the addition. So, excuse me, 37.5 feet right here. And by doing that, we'll have the potential at some point in the future for possibly connecting the hiking and biking trail. That 37.5 feet was caused by 12.5 feet that was left over from the old plat, plus they're granting us 20 for a total of 37.5. And then I want to point out too that we did this just for mapping purposes, but this portion of whatever potential future trail would be, this is not the proposed alignment. It could be anywhere within this property. There isn't any requirement that it be located there. This plat meets the requirements of the current subdivision regulations in regard to lot size setbacks and specific utility requirements, and also is conformance with the comprehensive plan, future land use map, and the property is already zoned correctly for its proposed use. It was also approved by the Hayes Area Planning Commission on December 19th of last year. In addition to that, we also took it to the Utility Advisory Committee. They reviewed it, as did our Water Resources Department, for what size pipes there should be, where they should be located, and all those kind of things. So it's been thoroughly reviewed. These are the options that are available to you this evening with this. Is one, to approve a resolution vacating the west portion of the Arbor Valley Estates plat, and then approve the final Creekside Estates addition plat as submitted. Request further changes to the plat. Excuse me. Thought I changed that. On my sheet, it's changed. The other option is to reject the plat or return it to the Planning Commission with specific comments. So there is not an option, as it states here, to not approve, to do nothing. And you'll notice that that's usually a choice, but with this, you have to make a decision. And this is our recommendation, to approve the vacation and the plat.
Yeah, there'd be two different motions.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance, I'm sorry, wrong line. Approve resolution 2017-002 vacating a portion of the Arbor Valley Estates addition.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Meyer. Any comments before we vote?
I do have a quick question for the city manager. In the past, we've been a little concerned about lots this big, and I know that there's been some background discussion. Must have been some of the planning commission. We're okay with big lots again, or?
Well, with regard to lots this size, the largest is a little over an acre, and it's mostly in the floodplain. The city commission actually kind of set that precedent when you authorize the combining of 4 lots into one up by the country club.
Correct.
To create, I think it was .85 or 86 acres there. And then the other lots are smaller and really not that much bigger than some of the stuff we've been doing, so.
Okay.
At some point, we do need to have a discussion on the commission's thoughts on maximum lot size. When you guys discussed the Blue Acres addition, the commission said, we don't want the, 2.5 acre,
Right.
3 acre large lot subdivisions in our city or next to the city. But we don't know where I mean, everybody could spot a very large hamlet type lot, but it's where do you draw that boundary at? So we do want to have a future discussion on whether or not to draw those
And
boundaries.
before these lady and gentlemen were here, we had subdivisions that had, or plats rather, that had very large lots, and they could not, the specials were onerous. So I think there's some economies of scale here because half the development's already done. But, so yes, let's please have that discussion.
Yes, we will.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
One other thing with this one is, this is starting to go along the way our discussions have been going, where these lots are deep, but they don't have a lot of frontage. So it doesn't take as much water and sewer and street to service them.
Yeah.
It did concern me, the lot size too, but where the floodplain runs through that, I understand why, and plus it aligns that street up, which is another discussion that we've been having outside of
Right.
lot sizes, so I think you give a little, you take a little
Yeah.
here.
Right, well, and I think that the lot size discussion centered around the price per square foot of street and sewer and water and those types of things that we're gonna have to put in. Doing this actually reduces that. So
Yeah.
I think that the lot size discussion, I think the concern at least originated out of not just we hate large lots, but just that the taxes generated by those large lots are not paying for the infrastructure that has to go into service them. If I'm,
That's correct.
Correct.
yeah,
Yes.
so,
That's
in
absolutely
this,
correct.
in this instance, I think that that maybe is probably not a concern as well, so.
I would say, feel it good. Any further comments? Call for the vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Sorry. That's 5-0. Need another
I would
motion?
move that we approve resolution number 2017-003, accepting the final plat known as the Creekside Estates Edition.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Meyer, second by Commissioner Jacobs. Any further comments? Think we're good? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. This is 5-0. Next item on the agenda would be progress report. We had progress.
It appears progress is made.
That's good to hear.
Mayor and Commissioners, I'm Assistant City Manager Jacob Wood with this month's progress report. I'll start out in the Parks Department. We continue to make improvements to Larks Park. We've done quite a few things over the last couple of years. This is just the next project in that line of improvements. This is the baseline wall on both sides are going to be replaced. It's kind of getting old and out of shape. So Parks crew went in and we tore out the old wall. Fort Hays State University is going to pay for the installation of a new wall. It'll be a picket type fence, cedar fence that'll be painted black. We also installed a new rail at the Larks Park. This is something we've had quite a few requests from people to put a railing in so that there's access for anybody to get in and out of there. This was a project that was also done in conjunction with Hays Area Baseball. Move on to the police department. In the police department, we had the patrol department attend some training on January 11th and 12th. The training was focused on jail procedures and evidence handling. We have a new records clerk at the police department. Natalie Reuter started on January 17th. She's a lifelong resident of Hays. She went to Hays High School and she's now attending Fort Hays State University working on a bachelor's degree in general studies. In the water resource department, we had a valve replacement on the inner workings at the water treatment plant. Basically, the valve replaces, it's a replacement valve for a pipe that helps to recycle water, so we can maximize the use of the water treatment plant. The Hayes Fire Department conducted SCBA training, which is a self-contained breathing apparatus. In this training, the firefighters, they have equipment that alarms whenever a firefighter is down. So once the firefighter stops moving, the equipment alarms, and the other firefighters try to locate those the firefighter that's down. They have visors that are blacked out so their vision is obscured for this kind of training. So they practice locating the unconscious firefighter wherever they may be. We also conducted passenger elevator rescue training this month. That rescue training from stalled passenger elevators involves care of panicked occupants, lockout tagout operations, opening the hoistway and elevator doors, and protecting occupants from falling into elevator shafts as they exit the elevator. A few weeks ago, the City Commission requested that we place some signage up by the new JT Travel Plaza so that people coming off the interstate know how to get back to the interstate. So this sign was placed on General Hayes Road. It directs travelers back to I-70 without having to go down and make a U-turn. At the Main Street stopgap, while we were putting in the stopgap project that I talked about last month, we noticed that there was some issues with the welds at the bridge there. So the Public Works Service Division dug that all out and replaced that and did some repairs. They did all the concrete work in-house. We're really lucky to have a crew that can do the kind of concrete work that these guys can do. They do an excellent job. You may recall we had an ice storm a few weeks ago, and this is not a picture of the Hayes ice storm. This is what we could have had. So I don't have any good pictures of what we did. The guys at the Public Works Division did a great job prepping for this. They worked all week long. We put over 12,000 gallons of brine down on the streets before the storm. And then public safety, both the police department and the fire department did a lot of prep work to prepare for the storm. Fortunately, we had a little bit of luck and it wasn't as bad as they said it was going to be. And then all the work that the public works did to put the brine down did make a great deal of difference with what we did have. And that is all I have for this one's progress report. Just a reminder, Valentine's Day is coming for all you guys. So don't forget that.
Jacob, I have a question, and I don't want to put you on the spot. Mr. Schwaller, you may know this. Our agreement with Fort Hayes, when we do repairs like that, how does that, what is the policy, or what's the agreement, or?
We have an operating agreement with Fort Hayes. We pay them a set fee every year to operate Larks Park. They clean the restrooms, concession stands, take care of general maintenance. That includes during the Lark season in the summer as well. The Larks help out, but Fort Hayes is responsible. It's our park, and so we're responsible for capital needs. We are opportunists to Fort Hayes' fundraising at times, and this is a good example of that. Fort Hayes would like some changes. The fence didn't need to be changed, or some other change, which will help out safety of the spectators and actually help the ball teams when they're down there. Curtis is in the process of raising some money for that, and so we can help out when necessary, and then we take advantage of their fundraising. They typically go on action projects down there. A lot of the bigger projects are ours, so the big projects we've done is the outfield fence, the restrooms, the concession stand. That was a joint effort. Fort Hayes, the city commission kicked in for the turf, but Fort Hayes did a lot of fundraising. They had naming rights for that. And then I believe Fort Hayes is the one that put the bleachers up. They were able to get not the bleachers, the seats for the bleachers. They did that, but then we put up the new netting behind the home plate and to make it a little more better for the fans.
We also did sign, lights, and outfield back in the day.
Yeah.
Athletic Director Chris Hamke, though, is a great partner.
Yeah.
He's met and worked with us, and they've really gone above and beyond, and I appreciate his leadership.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a beautiful place to hang out in the summertime, whether you're a baseball fan or not, so thank you for that.
Glad I was able to answer your question, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Report of the city manager.
I have nothing.
Comments, Commissioner Jacobs.
First, I'd just like to thank all of my fellow commissioners for the welcome. I heard lots and lots of emails, texts, phone calls, and I really appreciate it. And I appreciate the confidence of the commissioners in putting me in this position, and I hope I won't let you down. I specifically want to thank Andrea Winhals. She is just amazing. Don't ever let her go, Toby. She made sure I was up to speed, had everything I needed in front of me really quickly. Jesse Jacobs and Chad Rohr in the IT area made sure I was connected for tonight. And Toby spent about 2 hours filling me in and said that was just a little tiny piece. So I'm looking forward to the rest of it. I'm really looking forward to serving with you all this year. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Commissioner Young?
Just want to welcome you aboard. It's going to be nice working with you, and that's all I have.
Commissioner Swan?
Welcome. Glad you're
Thank
here.
you.
Welcome.
Thank
Glad
you.
you're here. May or may not have seen, but we had some state debate tournaments going on, and it looks like Hayes High and TMP both had teams going, and a TMP team actually got third place. It was Carlos Schwint and Paul Brule, and I don't know. I just wanted to bring it up because debaters usually don't get a lot of time, don't get a lot of face time in the newspaper. At least that was never the case for me when I did it. So
Were you in?
I did 4 years in high school, and I went to state 3 of the 4 years. So.
Never would've guessed.
Good for you.
Yeah, so, I mean, and I don't think that people really understand the amount of time that they put in. So they do 6 rounds to begin with. It's the team that placed third, it went 5-1, and each of those rounds is an hour and a half long. So they'll actually do 2 or 3 rounds on a Friday night, and then they'll do 3 or 4 rounds Saturday morning. And then they'll have quarterfinals, and then they'll have semifinals, and then they'll have finals. So if you're that final team, you've gone through a total of 9 rounds that are each an hour and a half long. And it's not like in sports where your coach is sitting in the back room telling you what to do. You're there by yourself. You make the decisions. You decide what you're going to say. And also there's a long tradition of debate in Kansas, and people maybe don't even know this, but Kansas high schools predominantly, when they go to national tournaments, have fared much better than other states when they go to national tournaments.
Awesome.
And we're one of the few states in the country to have multiple colleges bring home national debate titles. So Fort Hays, Emporia State, Kansas State, KU, Johnson County Community College, they actually do a different type of debate called Lincoln Douglas, and they actually won their national tournament 10 years in a row. So and the most recent title was at KU. And unlike in sports, we always like to say there is no Division II in debate. So when Emporia State wins, they beat the Harvards and the Yales of the world.
That's cool.
So anyway, I just saw it in the newspaper, and I thought one little article really didn't do them justice because they put in a lot of work to get where they're at. So congratulations.
I also welcome you, Ms. Jacobs.
Thank you.
I also had a lot of people email me and text and say, we did a good job selecting you, so
Thanks.
I look forward to serving with you. We're adjourned.
That was way too easy.
I prefer the Trump line.
Never let me leave.